The Kelly Clarkson Show took an unexpected turn when pop icon Gwen Stefani appeared as a guest to promote her latest music project. What started as a light-hearted conversation between two of music's most beloved stars soon spiraled into a shocking on-air confrontation that left both the audience and production crew stunned. Fans had tuned in expecting laughter, memories, and musical stories, but instead, they witnessed a moment of raw emotion and tension unlike anything seen on the show before. Kelly Clarkson opened the episode with her usual warmth, introducing Gwen as one of her favorite people in the world. The rapport seemed genuine, with Kelly complimenting Gwen's latest single and her bold fashion choices. Gwen smiled politely but seemed slightly distracted, glancing toward the audience and production team. From the beginning, there was a subtle energy shift, one that hinted that this interview might not unfold as planned. Still, Kelly pushed forward, unaware of what was brewing beneath the surface. As the interview continued, Kelly brought up Gwen's recent comments about balancing her solo career with her commitments on The Voice. That's when things began to get tense. Gwen's tone shifted as she responded that people often misunderstand how much pressure she's under. Kelly tried to lighten the moment with humor, but Gwen didn't laugh. Instead, she said sharply that no one, not even her friends in the industry, truly understood what she sacrifices for her art and family life. Kelly, slightly caught off guard, responded kindly but with firmness, reminding Gwen that everyone in the music business faces challenges. "We all juggle a lot," Kelly said with a nervous smile. But Gwen leaned forward and replied, "Yeah, but not everyone has to constantly prove themselves again and again after decades of success." The audience murmured, sensing the growing friction between two powerhouse performers who had once been supportive of each other. Trying to steer the conversation back to positive ground, Kelly mentioned Gwen's collaboration with her husband, Blake Shelton, and asked how it felt to work with him creatively. But instead of softening, Gwen's expression hardened. "I think people are obsessed with my relationship more than my music," she said. "It's exhausting that I can't have one without the other being brought up." Kelly, realizing her comment may have hit a nerve, apologized gently, but the tension was already palpable. The crowd's energy shifted from cheerful anticipation to uncomfortable silence. Kelly, still smiling professionally, said she admired Gwen for being open and honest. Gwen, however, wasn't done. "Honest doesn't always mean comfortable," she replied pointedly. It was clear that she was frustrated not just with the line of questioning, but perhaps with years of media scrutiny. Her voice grew sharper, and her body language more defensive, signaling that she was nearing her breaking point. Kelly, ever the seasoned host, tried once again to diffuse the mood. She said that as women in the industry, they both faced immense expectations, and she admired how Gwen had always stayed authentic. For a moment, it seemed like peace was restored, but Gwen suddenly interrupted, saying, "Authentic? Sometimes I wonder if authenticity even matters anymore when everyone's just trying to please the cameras." The live audience gasped softly, sensing the conversation had gone off the rails. Behind the scenes, producers exchanged nervous glances. They weren't sure whether to cut to commercial or let the exchange play out. Kelly remained composed but visibly uncomfortable. "I didn't mean to upset you," she said softly. Gwen shook her head, saying, "It's not you personally, Kelly. It's just this whole environment." Her tone was tense, yet emotional. She gestured toward the set, implying her frustration was with the showbiz world as a whole, not just the host sitting across from her. For a brief moment, there was silence. Then Kelly, trying to salvage the interview, asked Gwen about her creative process on her new album. Gwen exhaled sharply before answering. She said that making music lately had felt like walking a tightrope between personal expression and public expectation. "Sometimes I feel like people want the old me back," she said, "but I've changed. I'm not that girl anymore." Her voice cracked slightly, revealing that beneath the anger, there was deep vulnerability. Kelly empathized, saying that she too struggled with being typecast as the same kind of artist year after year. But when she mentioned her own experience, Gwen frowned. "It's not the same," she said abruptly. "You've always been loved by the media. They protect you. They don't protect people like me." Kelly blinked in surprise. The air in the studio grew heavier. Even the band members exchanged uneasy glances, unsure how to react as the interview seemed to turn personal and confrontational. The tension reached new heights as Kelly gently reminded Gwen that they were on live television. "We can take a break if you want," Kelly offered, maintaining a kind but steady tone. Gwen shook her head and said, "No, I'm fine. I just think it's important to finally say what I really feel." The audience applauded lightly, some thinking it was part of an emotional revelation segment, but it wasn't. Gwen's frustration was real, and the more she spoke, the more her emotions spilled out uncensored. She began talking about the pressure of being compared to younger artists, the criticism she receives for her image, and how even supportive interviews often reduce her to her relationship with Blake. Kelly listened attentively, nodding, but when she gently offered that fans just love seeing them together, Gwen snapped back, "But that's the problem. They love the idea of me, not the reality of me." Her words echoed across the set. Kelly's expression softened, but the damage had already been done. The audience sat frozen, unsure whether to clap or stay silent. Kelly glanced toward her producers, clearly wondering if it was time for a break. But before she could say anything, Gwen continued speaking, her tone rising. "I'm tired of pretending everything's perfect," she said. "I've worked my whole life for respect, and sometimes it feels like no matter what I do, people just see me as a headline." Kelly reached out a hand, perhaps to comfort her, but when subtly pulled back. Kelly attempted to reassure her, saying that everyone admired her resilience and artistry. But Gwen, visibly emotional, said, "You don't get it, Kelly. You're everyone's sweetheart. You can cry, laugh, and the world loves you for it. I do the same, and they call me dramatic." The statement hung in the air like a spark waiting to ignite. Kelly's face fell. It was clear the conversation had moved far from the safe, friendly territory talk shows usually inhabit. A few nervous laughs rippled through the crowd, perhaps out of discomfort. Kelly quickly said, "Gwen, I truly respect you and your honesty." But Gwen interrupted, saying, "I'm just done pretending." Then, with a brief sigh, she removed her mic and stood up. The studio gasped audibly as Gwen turned toward the stage exit. Kelly called out, "Wait, Gwen, we can talk about this." But Gwen simply said, "I think I've said enough." And just like that, she walked off the set. For a moment, the studio was completely silent. Kelly, visibly shaken but professional, tried to maintain composure. "Well," she said with an uneasy laugh, "that was unexpected." The audience applauded awkwardly, unsure how to respond. Producers quickly cut to commercial as Kelly looked toward the side of the stage, where Gwen had already disappeared backstage. It was one of those rare live TV moments that no one could have scripted. Emotional, messy, and painfully real. Backstage, according to reports from production insiders, Gwen appeared upset but calm. She reportedly told staff she needed a moment to herself before leaving the building. Kelly, meanwhile, stayed on set, debriefing with producers about how to continue the show. When they returned from the break, Kelly addressed the audience directly, saying that sometimes emotions run high and that she still had the utmost love and respect for Gwen. Her professionalism was widely praised online afterward. Within minutes of the broadcast, clips of the confrontation began circulating across social media. Hashtags like #Gwen on Kelly Show and #Gwen Walks Off started trending. Viewers debated who was in the wrong, as some defended Gwen's honesty, while others criticized her for overreacting. The footage was replayed across entertainment news outlets, dissected frame by frame. Every expression, every pause, every sigh became a topic of online discussion. The internet had found its newest viral moment. Fans of both singers weighed in. Some said Gwen was justified in expressing her frustration after years of public scrutiny. Others argued that Kelly had done nothing wrong and was simply doing her job as a host. The debate grew so heated online that both women began trending worldwide. Comment sections were filled with conflicting opinions, half supporting Gwen's emotional authenticity, and half praising Kelly's calm demeanor during an uncomfortable situation. By the next morning, Headlines dominated entertainment websites. Gwen Stefani walks off Kelly Clarkson's show, tension explodes between pop queens, and live TV meltdown leaves fans speechless. Analysts from major networks called it one of the most talked about daytime TV moments of the year. Even former guests of the show chimed in, with some saying that Kelly's empathetic nature sometimes led to deeply emotional interviews that caught guests off guard. Behind the scenes, sources close to Gwen claimed she felt blindsided by how personal the interview became. They said she hadn't expected questions about her marriage or emotional struggles. Meanwhile, people close to Kelly insisted that no ill intent was involved, that the discussion simply took an unplanned emotional turn. Both narratives painted a picture of two artists caught in a storm of emotion, media pressure, and public expectation. Later that week, Gwen posted a short statement on her social media, thanking fans for their concern and saying she was taking some time to reflect. She didn't mention Kelly by name but implied that sometimes emotions speak louder than intentions. Fans interpreted it as an olive branch, though many wondered if the friendships between the two singers had been permanently strained. Kelly, ever gracious, responded indirectly by posting, "We all have tough days, still love and respect always." Despite the controversy, both artists' fan bases rallied around them. Some even created compilation videos celebrating their best moments together from past interviews and The Voice seasons. It reminded everyone that the two women had shared genuine chemistry and mutual admiration for years. But even as fans tried to turn the moment positive, the viral clip of Gwen walking off continued to dominate online feeds, becoming a defining entertainment headline of the week. Producers of The Kelly Clarkson Show later released a brief statement acknowledging that passionate discussions can happen in creative environments and that the show respected all guests' emotions. The statement avoided assigning blame, instead focusing on appreciation for Gwen's contributions to music. It was a diplomatic attempt to move past the drama, but it did little to stop the online speculation about what had truly caused Gwen's outburst that day. Media analysts suggested that Gwen's reaction might have stemmed from ongoing stress about her public image and the constant comparisons to her younger self. They noted that she had faced increasing scrutiny in recent years, particularly regarding her evolving musical style and fashion. The interview, they said, may have been the tipping point for emotions that had long been simmering beneath the surface. Whatever the reason, it struck a chord with millions watching. For Kelly, the incident reinforced her reputation as a host who handles difficult moments with grace. Even in the midst of tension, she maintained composure and empathy. Many fans applauded her for not escalating the situation and for showing compassion afterward. Some industry insiders even argued that her calm response may have prevented the situation from spiraling further, protecting both women from deeper public fallout. In the weeks that followed, both Gwen and Kelly returned to their projects as usual, though the incident continued to follow them. Interviewers occasionally referenced it, and fans speculated about whether the two had privately reconciled. Neither offered details, though insiders claimed they eventually spoke off-camera and cleared the air. The entertainment world, however, had already cemented the moment as a major pop culture flashpoint of 2025. Despite the awkwardness of that day, some fans viewed the confrontation as an important reminder that celebrities are human too. Underneath fame, both women deal with personal battles, insecurities, and emotional pressure. Gwen's walk-off may have been dramatic, but it was also deeply human, a moment when honesty outweighed performance. Kelly's gentle reaction underscored that empathy can coexist with professionalism, even under the bright lights of television. Over time, the controversy began to fade, replaced by new headlines and viral stories. But the footage of Gwen leaving the set remained a defining clip for fans, shared again whenever discussions about authenticity in Hollywood resurfaced. Both Gwen and Kelly seemed to learn something from the encounter, about vulnerability, communication, and the price of living life in public view. It became a cautionary tale about fame, pressure, and friendship under scrutiny. Today, the incident stands as one of the most talked about moments in talk show history. While neither Gwen nor Kelly dwell on it publicly, the clip continues to circulate online, symbolizing the unpredictable nature of live television. What began as a simple interview turned into an emotional flashpoint that revealed just how fragile even the strongest public images can be. And for fans around the world, it was a moment they'll never forget, a raw, real, and unforgettable. In the aftermath of the broadcast, many industry professionals began discussing how live interviews can expose the emotional toll of fame. Several talk show hosts admitted that even with the best intentions, unfiltered moments can surface unexpectedly. Gwen's reaction became a case study in celebrity vulnerability, a reminder that not every conversation can stay neatly within the boundaries of promotion and entertainment. The human side of fame had never felt more visible to audiences around the world. Entertainment analysts on social media started revisiting past interviews of both artists, looking for subtle signs of strain or unresolved tension. Clips from earlier years where Gwen and Kelly shared laughter and mutual compliments resurfaced, contrasting sharply with the heated tone of their latest encounter. Fans pointed out that while the two women shared similar journeys in music and television, their personalities and emotional temperaments were vastly different. One openly fiery, the other quietly resilient. Some media insiders speculated that Gwen's emotional response reflected broader frustrations with the entertainment industry. For years, she had balanced her identity as a creative artist, fashion icon, and mother, often under constant public scrutiny. The interview may have simply been the spark that lit a long-suppressed fire. Her decision to walk off wasn't just about the conversation with Kelly, it was a statement about reclaiming control over her narrative and setting boundaries in a world that rarely allows them. Meanwhile, Kelly continued to handle the situation with empathy. In later interviews, she avoided speaking negatively about Gwen, instead focusing on understanding where she might have been coming from emotionally. She told one outlet, "Sometimes, when we open up about things that hurt, it doesn't come out the way we intend. I think we've all been there." Her calm response earned widespread praise and strengthened her image as one of television's most grounded and compassionate hosts. Gwen, for her part, stayed quiet for several days after the incident. Paparazzi spotted her briefly leaving a Los Angeles studio, but she declined to comment when asked about the show. Insiders claimed she wanted to avoid adding more fuel to the already intense media speculation. She focused instead on her music and family, choosing to let time and perspective cool the flames that had erupted during that unforgettable moment on national television. When Gwen finally returned to social media, fans noticed a shift in her tone. Her posts became more reflective, filled with gratitude for her supporters and subtle messages about self-care and growth. Though she didn't reference Kelly or the walk-off directly, her captions hinted at introspection and healing. Many followers applauded her for handling the situation with quiet dignity after the emotional outburst that had shocked so many. Slowly, sympathy began to replace the criticism. At the same time, Kelly's show saw a surge in ratings following the viral incident. Producers didn't celebrate the controversy, but they couldn't ignore the spike in attention. Viewers tuned in not just for the drama but to see how Kelly would move forward. True to her character, she approached subsequent episodes with grace, focusing on uplifting themes of forgiveness, empathy, and resilience, topics that subtly reflected her handling of the situation with Gwen. Months later, during an award show, both Gwen and Kelly attended the same event for the first time since their confrontation. Cameras captured them greeting each other politely on the red carpet. Though the exchange was brief, fans were thrilled to see mutual respect. Body language experts later analyzed the footage, claiming that both women seemed genuinely at peace. It wasn't the warm friendship of old, but it was a public truce, one that signaled growth, maturity, and quiet reconciliation. Behind closed doors, industry insiders confirmed that Kelly had personally reached out to Gwen after the incident. Their private conversation reportedly lasted over an hour, during which they cleared the air about the misunderstanding. Both women agreed that emotions had simply gotten the best of them. Gwen allegedly thanked Kelly for her kindness during the moment, while Kelly expressed understanding for the pressure Gwen had been feeling. The gesture closed a difficult chapter in both their lives. As time passed, the event transformed from controversy to lesson. It became a reminder of how quickly emotions can spiral when unresolved stress meets live television. Talk show hosts, producers, and celebrities alike began discussing the importance of mental wellness and emotional boundaries in media appearances. Gwen's moment of vulnerability, once labeled as dramatic, was gradually reframed as a human reaction to overwhelming pressure, something many people, famous or not, could relate to. Years from now, fans might not remember the specifics of the argument, but they will remember how it made them feel. How two powerful women, each respected in her own right, revealed the challenges of being open and authentic under constant public scrutiny. For many viewers, the episode wasn't about conflict but catharsis. It showed that even stars with polished images carry the same emotional struggles that everyone else faces, just magnified by fame's relentless spotlight. Media historians later ranked the episode among the most memorable daytime talk show moments of the decade. It was compared to other iconic unscripted confrontations that revealed the unpredictability of live broadcasting. Yet, unlike most controversies, this one had an underlying message about compassion, emotional honesty, and the complex nature of fame. Both Gwen and Kelly emerged from the experience more self-aware, proving that difficult moments can also lead to growth and understanding. In later interviews, Kelly admitted that the experience made her more mindful of how easily sensitive topics can trigger deep emotions. She said she now gives guests more control over the direction of conversations to ensure they feel safe and respected. Gwen, too, mentioned in a magazine feature that the walk-off, though regrettable, helped her learn to express her frustrations privately rather than publicly. In their own ways, both women used the experience to evolve. The internet, of course, never forgets. The clip of Gwen's departure continues to resurface whenever discussions about celebrity authenticity arise. Commenters still debate whether the moment was justified or overblown, but most agree that it felt real and not staged or rehearsed. In a world full of scripted reality, that kind of sincerity, even when messy, stood out. It became part of pop culture lore, a moment frozen in time that continues to fascinate and divide audiences. Today, both Gwen Stefani and Kelly Clarkson remain respected figures in music and television, their brief clash long behind them. Time has softened the memory, turning what was once controversy into reflection. Fans remember not the argument but the humanity it revealed, out the emotion, honesty, and imperfection that made it unforgettable. And though the cameras have long stopped rolling, that day remains a vivid reminder that even in the glare of fame, real feelings still break through.